Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
All right, good evening, Darren Love. It was great to catch up with you on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Some good people out there on our side, guys. There's a lot of good people. You are the good people on our side. So, the show is getting ridiculous by the minute. So they're actually going on with a bit of stuff, Katrina. I got a bit of stuff. They're actually pushing a bit of stuff, actually. So, all right, let's start and get into it, guys, because what they're doing is now from Australia, whether anyone wants to look into this, guys, but this just caught my eye, right? Millions of mosquitoes sent from Melbourne to Laos to fight dengue fever. All right, so I don't know where these things were produced in Melbourne. I don't know anything about anything, but when I saw that, it sent alarm bells, guys. So, millions, yeah, to Melbourne, the lab-grown insects. So, guys, yeah, it's you know, what are we doing? Creating freaking mosquitoes, mate? It's got to be a Gates thing. It's got to be. Now, health officials, right, this is what they're doing in countries around the world. Health officials begun rolling out mass vaccines to combat an Ebola crisis that has sparked pandemic fears, right? This is in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, guys, all right? This is, yeah, again, but, you know, genocide, all right? It's just what they do. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Now, Victoria now, because of the success of their machete bins, that they've had hundreds of weapons surrendered, they tell us, that Victoria is going to push for a national machete ban. So how many million did it cost us to get 13 million to get Victoria done in bins? About 13 million or something.
Yeah. 325 grand for a bin.
Yeah, but it was 13 million, the big bill, yeah. So what it's going to take to do Australia is what I'm just thinking, guys. Woo! Anyway, let's see when that one comes out, when they make a national and the thing of it. And yeah. And again, this is just a ridiculous Ridiculous justice system, guys. A 24-year-old man who hit 2 Aboriginal pedestrians with his car, and then he sped away. Right, this is up in the NT. And then he's bragging to his friends that he'd run down an oxygen thief. And the judge spared him jail time. You know, I mean, seriously? You sped away. You called them oxygen thieves. It doesn't matter who they were. And, you know, like, it's just, like, insane. And the judge just lets him walk away. So, yeah, we got some work to do, guys, eh? So we got Lays in China. We know that. Okay. You need to go and have a look at part 4 if you haven't seen it, guys, because there's some people out there really being clowns, and I'll fill you in on that a little bit later. I'm not going to waste your show time on it, but I'll probably do another little TikTok. Alan Jones on new sex charges, guys. 40 allegations now for good old Alan. Conor McGregor is now not running for the Ireland presidency. I think that's a shame. I think I know the reasons why. It's something to do with his conviction. And then finally, guys, like if you're doing it tough, there's a flu vax in a nasal spray. You don't have to get the shot anymore. You can just punch it straight up your nose, straight into your brain. How good's that? Come on in, Cazza.
Look, we got heaps of news, so let's just get on with the these ones first. This was from Saturday.
Hello, Guru, Mel, Pepsi as well. Made my way back to Linfield. I've got copies of the corruption whistleblower and the light as well. I've just sold a couple, actually. I sold one to the guy at the chicken shop I was just getting the feed from. So, yeah, I've given him some info as well. Thanks for good to catch up with you again as well.
Look, we'll leave it there because we've just got so much stuff to get through. All right, so now this is Albo in the journal with the journalists. Check this out.
$100 million towards a new climate resilience fund.
This is more than a fund, though. It's a promise to Pacific communities.
Warming once more to his theme of common kinship.
Australia is a proud member of the Pacific family.
But hang on. Was the Pacific Island press there to hear it? They were in prime position on the other side of the door. Yes, the warm bosom of family. As Solomon Islands journo Ronald Toyotona explained.
We asked to be part of the press conference, but then they said, oh, no.
Look, we'll leave it there. But anyway, so he wouldn't have the journos in there with him. Like, you know, it's just getting so ridiculous and so crazy. And then you've got this story. So you've got Jacinda Allen. She was in Beijing today. I met the Minister of Education, His Excellency Hua Jinping, to discuss the cooperation between China and Victoria's education systems and oversee the signing of a historic working education group. So, yeah, very interesting. As far as that goes. And then on top of that, you've got this admission of net zero. Have a look.
Sitting day, I will move one that this House notes the Grattan Institute's Tony Wood's admission yesterday that long-term climate forecasts tend to be making it up, as reported in The Australian. That Mr Wood said projections are really only trying to paint a possible future. And, quote, I worked on the first Ghana climate review in 2008, and the problem we ran into is there are so many things we don't know. We don't know how things are going to unfold. If you don't like this one, Sue, you'll love the next one. that this House calls on the New South Wales government to review all the climate change projections that the government has relied on to inflict net zeroism on the people of New South Wales and test whether alarmist forecasts of the past 4 decades have matched our real-world experience. I dedicate this to Sue Higginson.
Look, it's just, I don't know. Look, it's just getting crazier and crazier and crazier.
Yeah, well, we can tell you where your net zero is going, and it's going to put the country to rack and ruin. But everyone's waking up to you, all right? Not much longer you're going to be pushing this agenda, Bowen. All right? Not too much longer, mate, because it's all falling apart around you, bro.
Well, it is, and we have actually this digital ID in Canada and also Vietnam.
Another step to fulfill that promise. Starting in late 2026, Alberta will be the first province to implement the addition of Canadian citizenship markers to our driver's licenses and identification cards. This simple addition will have a profound impact on how Albertans interact with their government and their communities. Why are we doing this? Because we believe in making things better, faster, and more convenient for everyone.
All right, so you have that one. Now, also what I've been, I got this last minute, so I didn't bring it in, but so in Vietnam, 86 million bank accounts were wiped out in Vietnam 1st of September. That's 200 million accounts, okay? And the mandate, because of the mandated biometric digital ID required for everyone's VNED.
And that's how many people wouldn't go for it, Caz? How many bank accounts they wiped out? Is that what I'm reading there?
Yeah, that's as I understand it. I'll have to have a look into it. And
that's a lot of people.
tomorrow.
I mean, I don't know the population there, but I mean that's a fair few people standing their ground, actually.
Yeah, so
that'd have to be at least the 5% mark or more, wouldn't it?
Mm.
You would imagine.
Now, well, you think so. But then on top of it, you've got this crazy bird here, our little own Karen here, and she's actually said, get ready to lose your social media account. So basically, the ESAF commissioner stated that some people over 16 may accidentally be banned and lose their accounts. So, in other words, anyone critical of her or the Labor government or whoever will be banned.
Yeah, she won't lose hers, that's for sure, because she got to keep check on us.
Well, that's it. She does. It's very important that she makes sure that. I mean, she was the one that was hunting down people's wives. She was Milk Bar TV that we played his clip last night. She didn't like his content, and she had somebody from her office stalking his wife. Okay. Are you there? Oh, I just thought you might.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, Caz. I thought you were bringing a clip. Sorry.
I am. I'm just looking for it. All right. Now, we've got a couple of things here that are really interesting. So I thought we might actually start with, now, Belinda Ripton, thanks very much for bringing this one to my attention. So you've got this situation. So there's a total of 683 Victorian police officers and public servants were investigated between January 2019 and June 2024. 269 were investigated for alleged predatory behaviour and sexual harassment, and 195 for alleged offences. Now, what is interesting about that is it actually ties back to Mr. Kirk, because he said, and I did not know this until this was pointed out. So he actually said, breaking international pedophile rings spanning the globe has been exposed, already resulting in nearly 100 arrests in the US and Australia alone. He goes on here, the AFP was involved, 19 men have been confirmed, at least 13 children have been rescued, and coined Operation Bacchus. And then he's put down here, but remember, it's all a QAnon conspiracy.
Yeah, well, I think it's a God conspiracy, and he's putting it together pretty damn well. That's what I think. But that's only my opinion.
We might actually just touch on Charlie, because there's a lot of stuff with regards to Charlie's the shots, and that tells me that it's a professional hit. It's not some nut. Okay, so you've got the guy climbing down the pole. Now they've just found out that that's AI generated, because somebody's done a deep dive on that. You've got the guy on the side of him, the guy over above, the guy in front of him, and the guy on the other side handing something over. So when that happens, and you've also got the guy running away with putting away a gun. Okay, so now when that happens, it tells me that it's a military, or like basically a professional here, CIA, FBI, that kind of stuff. But I don't. And the reason why they do that is he's dying that day, no matter what. Somebody's going to get him. Now, but also it creates confusion, because somebody says, no, I was standing next to the shooter. No, I saw the shooter. So none of the stories match, and it's very difficult to put it all together. Is it a case of the good guys or the bad guys, though? And because there's some very interesting hints. Listen to Cash.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
So Now, there's a couple of things there that's really interesting. Valhalla, he used Valhalla. Now, Kash Patel is Hindu, so he doesn't believe in heaven, so he may have actually just found a niche, like an area there. So it might have just been a form of expression. The second thing is that he's a warrior, and so he may have seen him as a warrior and given him that acknowledgement. Now, the third thing is this little snippet here from 107.
In that gravesite, that torch, and that's why you have the aircraft painted in the colors. The sun was a threat. You know, when you hide, you go into witness protection. There's different ways you can create an identity. It's much easier to have a shared identity, and so that's something that's commonly done. And do you allow them free somewhere, or do they go to what we call Valhalla, some holding place that's not able to be in communication with the rest of the world? But
very interesting. Then there's this. So now this is Ken Con. Now he is a Marine, okay? And he's actually said, look, Charlie Kirk receiving a dignified transfer is exceptionally strange. It's unheard of. A dignified transfer is registered for military members who die in service, presidents, and sometimes congressmen. It is unprecedented for a civilian to receive one. Could it be VP Pence ordered it? Why? As a Marine, he should have known better. As much respect as I have for Charlie, giving him honours waters down what it did for my brothers and sisters, and they died fighting for their country. Except if you look at the work of what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll remember it in a minute. And basically, the 60,000 man army, secret army, unless Charlie Kirk was actually belonging to that. So through Freedom of Information Act requests, they found out that there was a secret army, and they know that it's at least 60,000. They don't actually know how many it is, but they know that it's at the minimum is 60,000. So it's very interesting.
That's God's army, and he was part of God's army. So I believe they want to give him whatever they want. He deserves it. he's took a hit for his country.
Yeah, he did take a hit for his country. And the other thing that's very strange about that as well is this little comment here by, was it Eric or which Trump was it? It was one of the Trumps. Okay. Now, remember, Don Jr. Now, he said, anyone else notice that when one of our heroes was assassinated in cold blood, if front of thousands, instead of in front of thousands? Spelling matters. We know that from the keyboard. So when you put all of these things together, it's very strange, and you're kind of like, okay, so what am I looking at here? So Mike King, that's the name of the guy, Mike King. So Mike King's done the historian Mike King, who does brilliant work, has done a really deep dive on all of this sort of stuff. So it's very interesting. And on that, I have a theory. And this is going to be one of these strangest theories that you're probably way out there, but sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Listen to this.
Should I have my speeches checked by you, President?
Senator Thorpe, you're not in a debate with me. I've asked you to withdraw. I expect you to withdraw.
The same week that neo-Nazis paraded the streets calling for a white Australia, the Labor government is rushing through harsh anti-immigration deportation laws that will impact, surprise, surprise, black and brown people the hardest. This bill paves the way for the mass deportation of migrants and refugees with no legal safeguards and no opportunity for protection. Australia's immigration regime is so brutal that even Trump points to it and said, "That's a good idea. We should do that too. Australia, you are worse than I am." Shame. He took inspiration from this colony. Just like South Africa got its inspiration for apartheid from the Aborigines Protection Act in Queensland. It is racist laws like these that form the fabric of this colony. And this has been the case since invasion of our sacred lands. And this creates a hotbed for white supremacy. White supremacy doesn't happen in a vacuum. It has been allowed to flourish when racist and divisive laws and attitudes to non-white people are laid into the very foundations of this colony as we see today. If the Nazis were in Parliament today, or maybe they are, they would applaud.
Senator Thorpe, withdraw that.
Sorry?
Withdraw the comment you made.
If the Nazis were in Parliament today?
Senator Thorpe, there's no need to repeat it. I've asked you to withdraw it.
It's a hypothetical.
I've asked you to withdraw it.
What is wrong with this?
Senator Thorpe, you are not in a debate with me. I've asked you to withdraw, and I expect you to withdraw.
Very hard, this violent colony, but I withdraw.
Senator Thorpe, I've told you before, you don't put statements about a withdrawal. You simply withdraw the statement.
I withdraw the statement,
Thank
Master.
You. No, Senator, and you can withdraw that as well.
I withdraw.
Thank you.
Well, the Nazis would be very happy with the Parliament today. They would applaud me.
All right. Now,
Yeah, go ahead, Caz, yeah.
What if she's a white hat? Nobody knows about these laws. Has anyone seen or heard of them? The only reason we know
what they
about
were saying was mass deportation laws, guys. That's what they were saying, exactly like America's got.
And but here's the thing is that we don't know about it. None of us know about it except for her. But she's so over the top bad that we just hate her because she's so damn annoying. But what if she's playing a role?
Because the good will be bad and the bad will be good, and we don't know anything in between.
It's said it many times. It has said it many times. And like the thing is too, is that you've got this really unusual time at the moment where they're calling it the Charlie effect, and it's happening like everywhere, like this.
Culture. The last video I saw of him, that of Charlie, the more videos I see of Charlie, the more I realize he was basically a perfect example of what a young man should strive to be, and I think that's what they hate the most. He is someone who advocated everyone gets married young and has kids as soon as possible. He completely advocated for people to not participate in hookup culture. The last video I saw of him that inspired me to make this, he was saying, if you want to be the best version of yourself and you want to live the best life that you could possibly live, you can't do what everybody else does. You can't go to the bars every weekend, get blackout drunk every weekend, and hook up with a random stranger every weekend. That is so unfulfilling. And Charlie was literally a perfect representation, bro. He was a hard-working individual. He had a purpose that was bigger than himself. He fought for truth, and he fought evil.
So you have that. Now, even it's sort of steamrolling on everywhere. Now, if you look at this, so what's actually happened here is Florida just obliterated the LGBTQ mural in Delray Beach. This is somebody whose handle is Sister Barbara Ream, and she says, I'm all in now. I just picked up my Bibles. I've never bought a Bible before today. Thank you, Charlie. We'll take it from here. You have these kinds of things going on all over the place. You have this case where this father has stormed the the drag queen story time.
Good on him.
Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me.
This is a disgrace. Men dressed as prostitutes reading filth to children. Look at all these people here, lads. They're a protection of grooming.
Get your hand off me!
You're the one.
Get your hand off me!
Look at this, lads. They're all around me.
So you have that now. You also have Leah Thomas, who was the Olympic swimmer, the trans Olympic swimmer, has been stripped of her titles.
Well, look what just happened. So the University of Pennsylvania, yes, that Ivy League school that likes to bend over backwards for the woke mob, just got a dose of reality check, okay, from good old common sense and a little something we like to call Trump pressure. After 47 himself came out and said, you ain't getting a dime until you fix this mess, and let me tell you, they folded faster than a freaking cheap lawn chair at a church picnic. And now they're stripping Lee Thomas of every single woman's swimming record he stole. And guess who's getting those records back? Real women, biological women, women who actually earned it. Now I gotta give credit where credit is due, and that is to Miss Riley Gaines. Girl, you have been the backbone of this movement since day freaking one. You've been out here swinging harder than a screen door in a hurricane, okay? Girl, you have came in and you have shook the system. And proud ain't even the word. And let me say this plain and clear for the people in the way back. Men do not belong in women's sports. Period. End of the daggum story. And before you freaking start, no, this is not hate. This is about fairness, biology, and respecting the grind of every single woman out there who has busted their tail in just to have someone come in and steal their spotlight who's not even supposed to be on the roster. This is a huge win for every biological female out there who has been told to sit down, shut up, and take it. No, ma'am, no, sir, not anymore.
So we're still running competitions here in Sydney, guys. As you know, under Football New South Wales, you decrepit bastards. All right, I've had my fights with you throughout the years, haven't I? But yeah, you guys, mate, allowing this to go on. You know, how about New South Wales? Fozzie, you gone totally left, mate. You're a frigging disgrace, Fozzie. Me and Frank were talking about you the other day. Absolute frigging disgrace. You want to stand up, mate. You want to go and have a talk to Joey Johns, maybe. Talk to good old Joey, good old Australian boy that's actually whacking stuff out on the mainstream there on the rugby and dropping shit, you know, about never been into the moon and this, that, and the other. Yeah, but some of you guys in New South Wales football or football in New South Wales, absolutely deplorable, guys. Deplorable.
Well, the theme that keeps on coming on though is now this is Cliff the anti-Selenite, and Cliff High. He has run the webbots for years. Now the picture is actually of San Clemente in Cali, and it's massive. They've got a prayer vigil going on there for Charlie Kirk. And Cliff has made the remark, Christian revival as forecast and global as forecast. Like, it is huge. We're only just seeing the beginning of it. It is going to be absolutely massive. And even to the point where J.D. Vance today recited the Creed of Nicene, the Nicene Creed. So the Nicene Creed, for anyone who doesn't know, is that it starts off, it's a profession of faith, and it says, we believe in one God, the Father of the Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible, indivisible, and in Jesus Christ, his only son, our God. So, and it just basically is a profession of faith, and he recited that within wherever he was giving a speech today. So pretty, like, I've never seen anything like that in my lifetime. Like,
oh, look, this is the wave I talk about, guys. It's on the way, you know, and when God sweeps you up and takes us all forward, it's going to be, it's going to be miraculous.
Well,
last weekend was miraculous, guys. I'm telling you, man, God just stepped in. You know what I mean? It was unbelievable. So, yeah, just, you know, we know what side we're on, guys. We got the big fella on our side.
Now, Candace has been swinging left, right, and centre, and she's put out this is getting really wild.
Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote-unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset, and threats were made. That is what I am told, and I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you. And he did not provide the receipts. This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting for one of them to go on record and to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say, because I've been in these situations before. When I started asking very sensible questions about Israel, as someone who had dedicated her political life to supporting Israel, many times alongside Charlie Kirk, I was met with the very same pressure. And just like Charlie was being invited to Israel, I was invited somewhere else. And when this arrived to me, it felt like a threat. You know, I got to tell you that. It felt like a threat, like not like, hey, come here and we can educate you because you're my friend. More like, this is your last chance. That's how it felt to me. I can't speak to how it felt to Charlie. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. A ton of money. Bibi would fund it, you know, spend tons of money. And Turning Point, I guess, if it needed to go to a higher level, would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie denied that funding. That Charlie denied, and what Bibi didn't include there, he declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as like, you know, re-education camp. You know, we've seen it. You made an uh-oh, but we can help you. You know, we just need you to come out to Auschwitz and take a picture.
Now, what's interesting about that is, so Julian's Rum is reporting that Bill Ackman, the guy that Candace was just talking about, is going to pay the father of Charlie Kirk's killer $1 million a month after meeting Bill Ackman. Had a contentious meeting with Charlie Kirk. Good God. So very interesting.
Wow.
Very, very interesting.
The evil is just so evil. It is just like, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. And it's just everywhere. Like you've got this Irina's funeral today. And you've also got this puppy walk. Like, look at this.
These people for real.
But there's some good news on the horizon, and this is this one.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I say that we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance.
For those of you that don't know Milo was deplatformed off everywhere. During Biden's presidency, I think he helped Trump get into office. He ended up, he got married and he's a gay man. He got married to a black dude, and then I think he got divorced, and then he just found God. And he's got he actually said that when he actually offered himself up when Trump was in the office the first time and said, yeah, I promise you that if you make me press secretary, I'll do drag once a fortnight from the Oval Office. It's hilarious. Anyway, but he's basically found God. So that will be fascinating. So he's put the thread out there. He said, look, we tried the nice way. Now, yeah. Anyway,
yep.
So
the movement is on. Yeah,
it is
God's
on.
still in the movement. Yep,
it is on. Now, George Christensen, he actually found this, and I meant to bring it in earlier, but it's really important that we realise what's going on here. So with the migrants, so out of 190,000 permanent spots, 72% of the so-called skilled stream. But 65% of the stream are just family members. Yep. So 35% are primary applications. Yeah. So for every skilled worker, there's 2 tag-alongs. Yeah.
Yep. It's an absolute joke, mate. Absolutely. Now they want to bring, like, how many of them over here to actually, build $500 million worth of houses to put their own people in? Like, hang on, guys.
Yeah. No, we're not having it. We're going to basically put a stop to it. That's just that is just outrageous like that. And you know something? It could be fortuitous timing because Mick Sims has basically said, Albo calls for convoy to Canberra part 2. Are we ready? And he raises the question, well, he must be calling for it. He must want us to go there because he's doing everything that he can to possibly get us there because we're getting that angry about it.
Yeah. Well, let's see where it goes. But yeah, the people are getting angry and the people are getting cranky, and we know we got to keep it peaceful, and that's what we'll keep pushing, guys. We just got to keep it peaceful, right? But we got to come together and we got to ride this wave. And if this wave takes us into Canberra, I don't know where it's going, but if it takes us into Canberra, so be it. If it takes us to Canberra, okay. If it takes us to Melbourne, it takes us to Melbourne. I don't know where it's going. Hopefully, it's going straight to the doors of Parliament, washing them out of there and dropping a few of us in the door, you know what I mean, to actually fix the place up.
Yeah, that's it. Look, I really wanted to play this with Charlie Kirk, with him not being a racist as well, because it's really important that we understand the cue drops that say that they want you divided by race, divided by religion, divided by culture, class, political affiliation. They want you weak, but together we're strong. So Charlie really understood that there really is no race.
Being a racist?
One thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this. Like DNA-wise, we are different.
No, we're not. That's a lie. It has been disproven. Front page of National Geographic 6 months ago. Racism created by society. Race is a social construct that I want to break out of.
Hold up. He doesn't even believe in race. The Oxford English Dictionary defines racism as prejudice based on race, or the belief that some races are inherently superior. But if Charlie's a racist, why is he arguing race doesn't exist? If he's a white supremacist, doesn't he need race to be real? I mean, you can't be a racial supremacist while arguing racial categories are fake. And wait a sec, race has been used to justify oppressing black people for centuries. So why is the black kid defending racial categories while the white supremacist wants to destroy them? This isn't new for Charlie. He's been saying this for years. And guess what? He's right. Here's the history of race. People always noticed skin color, but it mattered about as much as hair color. Slavery existed everywhere and was practiced by every skin color long before race was invented. Then, European colonizers needed justification for enslaving Africans. So, in the 1600s and 1700s, they invented racial hierarchy. The most influential framework came from Johann Blumenbach, a German doctor. He created the racial categories we still use today. Then, Georges Cuvier took Blumenbach's categories and ranked them, with white on top and black on the bottom. And racists ran with it. But here's the twist. Blumenbach never intended to create racial hierarchy. He was just trying to organize observable human characteristics, kind of like classifying plants. He believed we all have identical intellectual potential. He said differences came from environment and education, not biology, and those differences could evaporate over time. He was a devout Christian who believed we were all made equal. Sound familiar? Charlie Kirk consistently argued against racial categories and got called a racist. Yes, Charlie talked about race sometimes. He knew it was made up, but we live in a racialized culture. To change a culture, you must speak its language, especially when that culture keeps race alive through affirmative action and DEI. But most people never heard him in a long-form interview.
Again, I hate this racialization stuff, but it's true. Too. They force the racialization card. For the record, of course, I don't look at people in terms of skin color, but when they start categorizing me and the young men that show up to my events as toxic because they breathe, you force the race card.
I used to think Charlie was just confrontational with college kids for clicks. Then I listened to his full interviews. I realized he was fighting for hearts and minds in the battleground of ideas, and he was winning.
He was winning.
You're right, he was winning, and he was turning the universities away from the leftist ideologies, guys, and he was turning them to God, and that's what they couldn't deal with.
And the other thing about it too is it's actually the whole racism thing is also largely derived from Darwin. It was Darwin's theory of evolution. And if you actually go and read his works, it's very clear, you know. So it has derived from Darwinian theories.
Don't you
So-
worry. If you left me over out in the sun, or put me up in North Queensland or something for about 6 to 8 months, I'll be as black as the ace of spades. You know, you'd be looking at me going, "What? Yeah," because you wouldn't know. All right, because we're all the same, guys. We are all the friggin' same. Some of us just got a little bit different colour skin. We all
And the
bleed
other
the
thing-
same.
Yeah, well, that's true. Now, and don't forget that Othello was a black prince. So Shakespeare esteemed one of his most esteemed characters is a black prince, Othello. So very interesting. Now, now on that, there is something that must be said, and that is this is Mecca. Gaza is starving, and this is how people in Mecca live.
أكرمتني فلك الحمد وسترتني فلك الحمد ورزقتني فلك الحمد وعافيتني فلك الحمد لك الحمد حبا وشكرا لك الحمد يوما وعمرا لك الحمد دائما وأبدا.
Nice
So
looking spread.
now, they don't take any. They take zero. The surrounding Arabic nations do take none, zero refugees. You know, and before you say, "Oh, why don't Muslims post that?" Actually, that was posted by a Muslim. So even they're disgusted with the people that are not actually doing their own stuff. So, and the only other thing that I've got to play because it's very exciting. Well, listen to this. This is where we win, guys.
So here's what they don't want you to understand about the summit. This isn't just about ending a war in Ukraine. This is about ending an entire world order that has kept humanity trapped in cycles of imperial resource extraction and manufactured conflict for over a century. The British Empire never died. After Franklin Roosevelt died, it just put on a three-piece suit and called itself the rules-based international order. The screaming you hear from London, Brussels, and their American assets isn't about Ukraine's territorial integrity. It's the death rattle of a parasitic system that has fed off human misery for generations. If America and Russia become partners instead of enemies, their game is over. I'm Barbara Boyd. The empire is dying and they know it. The only question is whether we'll help them dig their own grave or whether we'll let them drag us down with them. You won't find this real story about the background to the summit anywhere else but Promethean Action.
She's an excellent researcher. No, this is what's really going on. So this is why they're trying to take us to war at the moment, because they've got to try and stop Russia and the USA, from joining forces, because then she's all over Red Rover after that. Look, we're being taken out by one of these great songs that somebody has written for Charlie Kirk. I can't remember who it was, but anyway, Dave, if you'd like to wrap up and close the show, that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, guys, like we say, and all I can say is this is, like I say at the beginning of most weeks, guys, this is going to be another pretty outrageous week, I think. Okay. We got a lot going on. There's a lot of things happening in the background. The wave's on the way. We're in murky water at the moment, guys, right? Bit of a washing machine, getting thrown around a little bit, all of us, you know what I mean? Copping it here, left, right, and center, everybody, all right? But the times are changing, all right? And as I said, we're going to ride that wave. We're going to ride it together. And just like Simsy said, where's the wave going? Is it going to Canberra? I don't know. I don't know where the wave's going. But I know that the swell is here. The swell's on the ground. And once the swell gets big enough, it becomes a mountainous wave. And that's what we're looking at, guys. So, yeah, I am all ready for it. And I'm pretty excited. So, let's keep pushing on. Wake up your neighbours. Wake up your communities. Keep going, guys. Right, you're seeing what's going on in the background. That Lydia Thorpe and stuff. What's going on there, guys? So go to bed tonight. Pray. Talk to the good Lord, the big fella. Get some discernment, guys, on where you're heading, where you're riding this wave. Good night, people. Cheers. Thanks, Caz. Thanks, Mel.
Breaker. This one hurts.
A young Christian man took a bullet for speaking his mind. Name was Charlie, husband, daddy, voice for the kids. Lord, why'd it go down like that? Stage lights cold as the winter rain. One breath, one prayer, then the world went strange. Crowd froze up when the thunder cracked. Truth on a mic and a life attacked. He talked about hope in a storming land, Bible in the heart and a promise in his hands. But a shadow reached from a coward's perch, cut down a son in the middle of church. And I swear if the tables turned the other way, y'all know there'd be fires in the streets today. But here we stand with candles and a folded flag, begging God for mercy on the road we drag. How dare they steal the breath from a faithful man? How dare they stain the grass where his boots once stand? They call us evil, point at our cross, then pull that trigger and reckon no cost. If it were theirs, there'd be sirens and flames, but we're praying for truth while we whisper his name. Charlie, we ain't letting go of your hand. Erica holding on to picture frame, two little hearts asking who's to blame. America's weeping like a mourning dove when a voice falls silent that was speaking love. He stirred up halls with a lion's roar, told young souls they were made for more. Now we kneel in the quiet where the echoes ring and promise to carry what he came to bring. If the shoe was flipped, you'd hear a different cry, but we'll choose the truth and we won't reply. We're fire for fire, stone for stone. We'll stand for justice and we won't back down. How dare they steal the breath from a faithful man? How dare they stain the grass where his boots once stand? They call us evil, point at our cross, then pull that trigger and reckon no cost. If it were theirs, there'd be sirens and flames, but we're praying for truth while we whisper his name. Charlie, we ain't letting go of your